All right, back here at the news desk now, and today we're speaking with Paul Pruitt, co-founder and chief growth officer with ShareRx, now to explore the Trump RX, the administration's new direct-to-consumer drug pricing platform. We're going to discuss whether it can truly lower patient costs and how PBMs influence pricing and what reforms remain essential. Paul, welcome to the news desk. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with, from your perspective, does Trump RX have the potential to meaningfully lower out-of-pocket drug costs for the average patient?
Absolutely. It's a great start. There's a few dozen drugs, medications on the platform where it aggregates some great direct consumer pricing. The only thing is you can't use insurance, so this is truly a cash pay situation. But for a lot of Americans, they're going to be able to save in out-of-pockets and copays by using that platform.
Okay, so you mentioned it's a cash-based system. What types of patients will benefit from it? Who stand to benefit the most?
So uninsured individuals or individuals that have high deductible health plans, I think will have the best benefit and value using the website.
And how should patients think about comparing Trump RX prices to what they pay through an insurance or maybe an employer plan?
Yeah, I think it's first visit the website. There's about 43 medications today. Many of those have generic equivalents. If you're taking a generic, continue to do so. But I think a lot of the GLP-1s and weight loss medications that might not be covered have some really good pricing. We see some infertility medications that we're excited to see the pricing come down for through that website. So I think there's for certain members on medications, we know that the savings can be pretty significant.
You've spoken often about the complexity of PBM rebate structures. How do these mechanics influence whether Trump RX can deliver real savings?
Well, I think that's what you're seeing in this pricing is the elimination of the rebates and the items that are paid to the PBMs for formulary placement. So once those intermediaries are excluded from the transaction, the pricing can fall dramatically, which just shows the how much the rebates are influencing the price at the pharmacy today. And so once that's removed and there is no insurance mechanism for access, now you're seeing some more fair cash pricing that's more affordable.
Do you see these cash price models like Trump RX risking the double pricing, meaning where insured patients may actually end up paying more?
It's possible if you utilize the Trump RX site, you are not allowed to accumulate any of those expenses towards your out of pocket. So it'd be up to you as the individual whether that makes sense. If it makes sense to use Trump RX, knowing it won't accumulate for a lot of us, we have high deductible health plans. Those that still may be worth it if we're not going to actually meet that deductible throughout the year to save money today.
Hmm. We're hearing that Trump RX may provide greater savings to employers or Medicare rather than patients. What do you make of these early assessments?
That's not the case. If on in the fine print on the website, it specifically excludes any government or state programs from being eligible to use the pricing, nor can you accumulate those dollars to your out of pocket. So it really is only for those without insurance or those that choose not to use their insurance to access that pricing. So it is intentionally forbidden from cross-contaminating into that insured space.
Okay. With 16 of the 17 largest pharmaceutical manufacturers participating, what does that signal about industry incentives?
Well, I think we're seeing some negotiations happening behind the scenes with what Medicare is going to cover or cover differently to incentivize the manufacturers to offer some more favorable pricing, which is still only to a small segment of the entire consumer-based population, but it could be a segment that either can't afford the medications today, and even with insurance, there's often out of pockets that exceed $250, which we know has a very high abandonment rate where people just don't pick it up. And so I think there is definitely an understanding where the consumers and the patients can actually now have something more affordable that is better for the manufacturer because people are on their product.
Paul, can you tell us how ShareX now your model differs from Trump RX in terms of, I guess, lowering costs and increasing access for members?
Absolutely. So here at Sharks, what we do is we work with the uninsured population at an employer. So they may have group coverage, but it does not cover certain higher cost medications. And what we want to do is to help navigate members to where the more affordable options are in the marketplace. And we're excited about what Trump RX is delivering because this is additional resources that we can look at for our populations because our entire purpose is to make those members, their world simpler, they're easier, and help them navigate a very complicated system.
Do you see the direct-to-consumer drug pricing platforms becoming a long-term trend for U.S. healthcare?
I sure hope it does. I mean, that's been something we've been looking forward to. We're hoping that we see and excited that the administration has been very vocal and pushing for this rather quickly. So I do hope that we continue to see more options available and more pricing come down for just the regular American because it's very expensive. The system we have
Hmm.
today assumes that you have insurance. It's kind of built for the government as the payer, and everyone works backwards from there. Which now, as an individual, that doesn't help me. And so I think this is now at least a tip of the hat towards, hey, there's a whole segment of our population that does not have great access to good pricing. And so hopefully this becomes a good signal to other manufacturers with other products to join this movement for direct pricing to the consumer.
Okay. As patients and employers now try to navigate rising drug costs and new platforms like Trump RX, what's the single most important step that they can take right now to ensure that they're actually getting the lowest possible price?
Yep, I think it's to be curious, right? And to first ask that question, am I getting the lowest possible price? So if I'm currently paying more than a couple $100s for my medication, and maybe I should go check out that Trump RX website to see if my medication is on there. And if so, is that pricing better? And it makes it very simple because then it creates a coupon card that you can take to your local pharmacy and provide that to them to get access to that pricing, but it comes with understanding if I do have insurance, it won't accumulate to my out of pocket, but that might be better for me if it doesn't anyway.
Okay. Paul Pruitt, co founder and chief growth officer at Sharks, thank you for your time today. I sure appreciate the insight.
Thank you so much.
You got it. 9 now past the hour. We'll take a quick break, come back with a look at your local news headlines next.